Hello and welcome to a new video. Seafaring has many myths and legends, with ghost ships being one of them. Today we will take a look into one of its biggest mysteries, where a ship's crew abandoned the ship and vanished without a trace. The Mary Celeste originally had its maiden voyage in 1861 as Amazon, registered in Parsboro in Nova Scotia, Canada. In October of 1868, the ship was driven ashore in a storm and badly damaged. The ship was bought by a businessman from New York who had the ship restored and registered it in the port of New York under the name Mary Celeste. After a change of ownership, where it fell into the hands of a New York consortium, the ship underwent a major overhaul in 1872, where it was enlarged. One of the consortium's shareholders was the ship's new captain, Benjamin Spooner Briggs. Captain Briggs, born on April 24, 1835, as the son of a captain, was already a very experienced seaman at the time. He was well respected by the people that served under him for his knowledge and his skills. He already considered retiring from sea for good and going into business together with his brother. The two invested their savings into the shares of ships. Benjamin invested into the Mary Celeste and his brother into another ship. In October 1872, Briggs took over command of the Mary Celeste. She was about to set sail for her first voyage after the repairs done in New York. The destination was the Italian city of Genoa. His wife and younger infant daughter accompanied him, while his older son stayed at home with Benjamin's mother, taking care of him. Briggs took great care to only select seamen for his crew that were experienced and recommended to him. On November 5th, 1872, the Mary Celeste left the harbor with Briggs and his family on board, loaded with 1,701 barrels of raw alcohol. The weather was uncertain, so the captain decided to anchor the ship before Staten Island, from where the ship started its journey 2 days later, under better weather conditions. While the Mary Celeste anchored preparing for the journey, the Canadian ship Dei Grazia laid harbor in nearby New Jersey. This ship was supposed to carry petroleum to Genoa via Gibraltar. The Dei Grazia's captain, David Morehouse, was from Nova Scotia, just like Briggs. Some sources suggest that it's likely that both men knew each other. Some even go as far as that they were close friends and even had dinner together on the evening before the Mary Celeste departed. But this was only claimed by Morehouse's wife 50 years later, when her husband had already passed away. The Dei Grazia set off for the Atlantic on November the 15th, taking more or less the same route as the Mary Celeste. 1 p.m. Wednesday, December the 4th. 1872. Position 38 degrees 20 minutes north, 17 degrees 15 minutes west. The Dei Grazia is halfway between Portugal and the Azores. Captain Morehouse is called on deck by his men as they discovered a ship heading towards them. Seeing the ship's odd behavior and the unusual set of sails, the captain suspects that there is something wrong with the ship. Spotting nobody on deck and the ship not responding to any signals given, he decided to send 2 men on board to investigate. The 2 crewmen could clearly see that the ship's name was Mary Celeste, and it was indeed deserted. When entering the cabins, everything was wet from the water entering the open hatches and doors, but they encountered no sign of fire or violence. The logbook was still left on board, but most of the ship's papers and navigational equipment were missing, as well as the lifeboat. Everything looked like an ordered evacuation of the ship. It's important to note that sources exist that claim that the lifeboat was indeed still on board. The logbook had its last entry from 9 days before on a position 400 nautical miles further west. Captain Morehouse decided to bring the ship to Gibraltar, so he sent 4 of his 8 crewmen on board to sail the ship to Gibraltar. At that time, under maritime law, everybody recovering a ship, so-called marine salvage, could expect a reward depending on the value of both the ship and cargo and the level of danger and difficulty the salvage underwent. Both ships heavily undermanned, they suddenly reached the harbor of Gibraltar on December the 12th. After reporting to the authorities, an investigation started and court hearings began. They could not find any damage by storm or else. 9 of the alcohol barrels were found to be empty. Quite understandably, authorities were very suspicious of the Dei Grazia's crew, especially after discovering stains on board that might have been blood. However, they received the money in reward at the end, as no clear evidence against them was found. Dozens of theories exist, ranging from pirates all the way as to outrageous ones such as an alien abduction. Sir William Charles Crocker, an insurance expert, stated the following. The ship had loaded 1,701 barrels of raw alcohol. Because of the vapors coming from the barrels, the hatches leading into the freight compartment had to be opened in order to lower the risk of explosions. Because of stormy weather, the hatches could not have been opened, and 9 of the containers, the ones that were found to be empty, were leaking. The vapors formed a highly explosive mixture together with the air that was suddenly ignited by the fire of the ship's kitchen stove. It's important to note that alcohol burns without leaving ash or smoke. The captain, fearing another bigger explosion, evacuated the ship. Another theory is that the captain ordered to ventilate the storage rooms. To escape the fumes, the crew went into the lifeboat, tied to the ship. A storm approached and the crew wasn't able to get into the ship again and the rope snapped. Some also speculate that a marine earthquake threw crew members into the sea. Water also entered the ship, so the captain ordered an evacuation, thinking the ship was about to sink. But probably we will never find out what was really going on the ship. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you next time.